Maybe one day, and we are live.
We are live. Hello, everyone. It is June the 10th at 4 o'clock in the afternoon here in Alabama. See Michigan,
Saw Norway earlier.
Virginia, Norway.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Dallas. There's
Norway.
lots of different places. We can't possibly name them all. We appreciate y'all being here.
Absolutely.
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 We don't say that enough, but we do. We always appreciate everybody being here because if not for y'all, we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
North Carolina, Hainesville, Alabama.
Alabama.
How about it?
How about that? Now, I want to go ahead and say this. This live stream may or may not be cut short.
Yeah, that's true.
We got Dr. D is scheduled to come here today. It's nothing wrong or anything like that, but he's going to do a little checking on some things and just general checkup. Dogs need their general shots and all that kind of good stuff. And he says he's coming on Tuesday, and that could be at 4:10 p.m.
I don't think he gets off till 4, though.
Maybe not. Maybe not. I'm just saying he may send me a text and say, "Hey, matter of fact,
I was going to wonder if you. I was going
probably
to
need
wonder.
to take it off. Do not disturb."
Yeah, because you probably need to know if he says he's here.
Yes.
Dr. D works a regular job. He is the state vet of the state of Alabama. So when he gets off of his regular job, he does veterinarian work for himself.
That's right.
And it's easier for him to come here and do the dogs than us hauling them there. And we kind of have to, we do what works for him.
Yep. So he may say I'm here.
He may.
Or I'll be there in 15, usually what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I'm sitting at your gate.
Or I'm sitting at the gate.
One or the other.
If that happens, we'll let you guys know immediately.
That's all right. I'll handle it, Jason.
You'll handle it by yourself?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Tend to think I like to talk, so
handle it then.
I can handle it.
That'd be good.
No,
that'd be good.
Why they would think anything like that, but that's just something that is just kind of routine for me. It's not that I ever try to butt in on you or anything you're saying. We're opposite personalities. Like you're a introvert and I'm an extrovert. So if I feel like we're coming to an end with conversation, I pick it up, and it's just how we work together. And I think the same goes for some other creators as well. So,
what's up, Nick and Zoe?
Trying to shut me up.
I saw I saw me and T on here.
All right. Hey, Londa and Tom, how are y'all? Hope everybody's doing good. No, I'm not getting a cast. I have new attire today. I did go yesterday.
No cast.
I did not get a cast, but I did. My appointment was with a physical therapist. They are who took the dressing off and everything, and they are who looked at the wound. But the doctor did come through and have a quick visit, and the physical therapist said, she needs to ask you a question. And he said, okay, what is it? And she said, you ask him. And I said, okay. She said, first, she said, let me tell you this. She came in here with that dressing on here, dressing meaning ace bandage. And I asked her what in the world she had been doing. And he said, why? And she said, because the thing was filthy. And I said, oh my gosh. I said, look, I work outside all day, and I didn't think it was that dirty.
Yeah.
But I knew they told me to don't take it off, so I didn't. Probably was better if that dirt didn't get all up under here.
How filthy was it?
Well, it's pretty dirty. She threw it straight in the trash, cut it off instead of touching it.
Oh, goodness.
But she said she needs to ask you a question. Ask him. And I said, well, I have a farm, and I wanted to know how much I can use my hand. And he said, what do you mean? What do you do? And I said, well, like, picking up feedbacks and carrying buckets and such as that. And he said, you don't need to be using your hand for that. You're not using just that hand, are you? And I said, well, no, sir, I'm using both hands. And he said, no, that hand is to rest. And I said, well, don't you think with my fingers taped together that I'm not using it too much? He said, don't use the hand. So I didn't get a cast, but.
Oh, goodness. They may end up putting you in one.
I don't think so now. I've changed my mind. I did ask the physical therapist, I said, "Do you think it's healing the way it should be?" And she said, "Well, let me look." And she looked at the x-rays and she said, "Well, it's still bad broke." And I said, "I think I'm not doing what I should be." And that's when we got in the whole conversation of, and then she grabbed him, pulled him aside, and made me tell him what I did. So, I mean, I'm listening to him. It's not that I don't listen to him, but here's my thing. When I go to physical therapy, I have to do all this pushing and pulling, and I'm like,
What's the difference?
that's way worse than what I do.
What's the difference?
And now I have to add this thing, and I didn't tell you this. It's called the towel crawl. Okay. So I take this stuff off my hands, all this get up, and I take the towel and I crawl with it, and I'm exercising my fingers, and then I push it back and I crawl with it
I was
again.
thinking like the watermelon crawl.
Oh, it is, but with my fingers.
Don't drive, do the watermelon
I
crawl.
told him that I drove the zero turn, I drove the tractor. I
That's
said,
all
but
okay?
I said, but I don't have to use these fingers when I do that. And he said, and he walked on. I think he just knows that it's my hand and I know what to do. And I don't think I've done anything wrong. I really don't. I don't think I've done anything
Maybe
wrong.
not.
I said it never hurts.
Yeah,
And to me, if I was doing something I shouldn't, it would
it
hurt.
hurt.
And I said, now, if I hit it on something, it hurts. But not using it. I feel
Not picking up 5-gallon buckets and stuff. That don't hurt it.
no, or 50-pound bags of feed, it doesn't hurt. No problem, Doc. That's you.
Oh.
That's you, Jason.
Oh, goodness.
You can't put it on silent. Boys, listen. We're doing a live. Ryan the Roaster and Michael Keith. You can't text right now.
Can't text right now.
Waiting on the doctor. Okay? So, I'm going to be careful. I'm going to be careful. And I certainly don't want to do anything to wind me back where I was. That was just amazing.
You don't want any opinions put back in.
I told him when I left out of there, I will never, ever see you again for surgery.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean it.
You don't want any more shots.
No, well, I don't care about the shot.
Are you doing that shot? Hurt real
It
bad.
did, but I mean, that wasn't nothing like the process. I mean, this has been going on for months
I
now.
got you.
And thousands of dollars later, here I am with a crooked finger. You know? It's just crazy.
Oh,
crazy
goodness.
to me.
Oh, me. Speaking of shots, I got one yesterday.
Yeah,
So y'all know about my chipped tooth.
supposedly.
Allegedly, if you watch the lives, you know I had a chipped tooth and told you it was in a weird spot. And come to find out, it was more than just a chipped tooth.
I can't remember what it was called, though.
Resorption?
Resorbed.
Resorbed.
Yeah, that's it.
I had a resorbed tooth. Any of y'all ever had that before?
A resorbed tooth.
So basically, your body turns on or turns against your teeth. And your cells start breaking down in your tooth. And, oh, goodness.
Get him gone.
Get him gone. No, I didn't get him. He's too fast. Got him. So basically what happens is that my root or whatever starts turning against my tooth and it creates a hole in my tooth. And it's usually on your bottom teeth and it's usually on the back side. And my dentist told me that they say it could be trauma or other factors, but all in all, they really don't know what causes it. And of course, I've never heard of it. And y'all, where it was, it's on the bottom, right up against my gum, on the inside of my tooth. The girl that brought me in there, the assistant, she sat me down and I told her what was going on. She said, "Well, how did you break it?" Well, I said, I was eating pickled okra when I felt it. And of course, she got a chuckle out of that. And I said, I wasn't eating ice or a gobstopper. You know, I was eating pickled okra of all things.
All right.
And she goes, "Okay, let me look at it." And she looked at it. The first thing she said was, "Oh, that doesn't look good." I'm like, "Oh, this is great. This is great." So she proceeds to tell me that I've been doing this for a long time as an assistant, and I've never seen anything like this before. I was like, oh, this is even better. This is even better. So, anyways,
It's nothing to do with grinding your
no,
teeth.
it could just,
It's like your body has rejected that tooth for whatever reason.
it's crazy. So here I am sitting in the chair waiting. She says, I'm going to go get one of them. And I'm waiting. Of course,
Meaning the dentist.
Dentist. And it's a husband and wife trio. Duo, I mean. I saw trio. They used to have a third one in there. That's why I said trio. There used to be another dentist in there. It's not. It's just two of them. Back to them again. And it's Abby and Logan. And I'm in there waiting. I can hear Logan talking. That's usually who sees me, is Logan. And me and Logan we get along well.
Right.
We get along probably too well. And so we're sitting there and we're thinking, I'm thinking, here comes Logan. And it ended up being Abby, his wife, who I haven't seen that much.
Right.
It's always Logan.
And y'all, Abby was in the 6th grade when I graduated high school, and I was like a PE assistant.
Yeah.
Like a assistant coach, because that's what I thought I wanted to be when I grew up, was a PE teacher. And so they let me be an assistant during like study hall or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I remember Abby as a little girl, and I just can never get over the fact that she's all grown up and she's a dentist.
She's a dentist.
So Jason saw Abby.
So she comes in and she sees it and immediately knows what it is and tells me what it is. And I'm like, oh goodness. She said, and it's kind of in a bad spot. Hopefully when we start cleaning it out, we can get by with a filling. If not, then we'll have to do a root canal. If that doesn't work, we will have to extract the tooth and put a bridge in.
He's texting me all this, y'all. I'm at physical therapy at the same time he's at the dentist. And I'm like, what? Because I've never heard of it. So, of course, I start Googling on my end. And I'm like, I said, Jason, why did they not see this? We were just there less than 2 weeks ago.
Exactly.
You had x-rays done. Why was it not there? Why was it not there?
Mm-hmm. So I was like, why in the world? Why didn't they not catch this?
Yeah.
But they were on vacation and they had a fill-in dentist. And I thought maybe he didn't see it.
Right.
Maybe it was his fault, right? So she tells me about it. She said it happens really fast. Believe it or not, it happens really fast. I'm like, okay. So she walks out and gives me the numbing stuff and gives me the shot. And I told her right off the bat, I was like, look, now when Logan had to give me a shot on my bottom teeth, I said he had to give me a stupid amount of, I call Novocaine, but it's not Novocaine. They don't use Novocaine. It's called something else. And she kind of got a little chuckle about it.
And this is, y'all, she's kind of serious, and he's kind of like,
just like me.
He's goofy, To hear her, when he told me Abby busted out laughing, I just would have liked to have been there.
And she said, well, some people are wired different. And so their nervous
about that.
Their nervous system, especially on their bottom teeth, can be wired different. I said, oh, mine's wired different. And she said, what do you mean by that? I said, well, he's giving me my shots. I said, my nose goes completely numb. And that's when she busted out laughing. But my nose did. One side of my nose went completely numb. And she said, well, we're going to try to get by with one shot because it's on the front. And I was like, fingers crossed this works. And the whole time I'm thinking I'm going to get at least 3 more. So she comes in and I could push up against the chip. And it was sensitive, but it didn't. Well, I wasn't in any pain. So she gives me the shot, and the whole time I'm pushing up against that thing because my biggest fear is they're gonna start drilling and hit the nerve, and I'm not numb.
Well, you had already told me. I said, "What's going to determine if it's a fill-in or a root canal?" And he said, "If they hit the nerve,
if it's too close to the nerve." And so that's my biggest fear because when I was a little bitty fella, that happened to me, and when the dentist hit it. Because I wasn't numb, I jumped. And then he got mad at me for jumping. And he said, why are you jumping? I said, because it hurts. What do you mean? And he never numbed me again. He kept drilling and I jumped again and he got mad. And I was like, don't get mad at me. My mouth's not numb, doc. It hurts. And so that's my biggest fear. It was the whole time that's going to happen. And so she comes back, she starts cleaning, and they do some more x-rays, and she cleans and looks again, and lo and behold, she said, she showed me, she took a picture. They got a camera that goes down in there and they take these close-up pictures.
Mhm.
And she said, look, this is your tooth. This is it. And she said, that's the pulp and the nerve. She said, it's just, she said, it's just too close. She said, I could do it. And then if it don't work, I have to do it all over again. She said, it's just too close. Good thing is this is not a typical, it's a root canal, but not a typical root canal because I don't have to have a crown because it's on the side. It's not on the top.
Y'all, I had shined a flashlight down in his mouth after it happened. And, he's leaned down like this and I'm all looking in his mouth. And I saw it, what it looked like on his gum was like, when you
I got a picture of it.
When you eat something spicy and it takes the skin off your mouth, that's kind of what it looked like. I said, Jason, that just looks, I can find it. I said, that just doesn't look right. I don't think it's chipped. I couldn't tell what it was. It looks like his gum has eroded.
You can see it right there. That was it.
So we're in Dental 101 here. And this is called, I Can't remember.
Resorption.
Resorption. Resorption.
So I forgot to tell y'all. So before the dental assistant, I never seen this girl before or lady.
And I can't picture her because you described her to me. And I mean, we've all been to the same dentist for years.
Yeah, I've never seen her before. But I usually when we go to the dentist, just get our teeth cleaned, and we know the teeth cleaners because we see them all the time. But when you go to get work done, it's a totally different set. And so you don't see those girls as much. And so
I know what it was. When I had my popcorn break my tooth, which is the only dental work I've ever had to have done, I remember her from then.
Okay.
Now that you say that, because she was in there.
Well, she's the one who says she's never seen it before. So while I'm waiting on them to come back, she comes back and she's just making small talk. And she's looking, I can hear her clicking on the computer, click, 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 and it just stopped. And she turned around and goes, oh my gracious. Are you Jason from YouTube? I swear, this is what she says. And I started laughing. I said, yeah. She said, me and my husband watch you all the time. I cannot believe she said, I thought I recognized you. She said, but I can't believe it. I'm not like, I can't believe that he's in here. I mean, and so I got tickled about it and laughing. And she goes, this is great. This is great. And so then she's like, she wants to talk gardening. She's a big gardener.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're talking gardening. And she's telling me all about her gardening and all this kind of stuff and asked me what I was, we was talking garden. And for some reason we got to talking about squash. We got on the subject of squash. And she's like, I'm having trouble with squash, and, pest and squash borers and all that. And I said, have you ever grown Trumbincio squash? She said, no, I've never heard of that. And I said, well, it looks like a gourd. All squash are gourds anyways. But I said, it looks like a gourd. It's called Trumbincio. And I said, now, it don't grow like your typical squash. Now, it's going to grow like a pumpkin or a watermelon. It's going to grow on a big vine. And you can grow it up a trellis. And I said, you don't have issues with borers, period. No squash borers get in Trumbincio.
Could she put it in that same hole and still not have trouble with
borers? Yeah. Long as it's growing up on a trellis. You don't have to grow on a trellis. You can grow it anywhere. And I said, most squash bugs don't like it. It's just so easy to grow. And I said, it tastes like squash. Of course, she's writing it down. She said, I'm sending it to my husband right now. I'm sending it to him right now.
That's funny.
So we had a good conversation, but I got tickled about that. So Abby comes in, numbs me up, starts drilling in the typical thing. I know exactly what's going on now. To me, the biggest part about having root canals is keeping your mouth open that long. My mouth starts getting tired and sore.
Yeah, my mouth starts getting tired just with the teeth cleaning.
Mm-hmm. And so, anyways, all this is going on, and I hear Logan in the background, and he knows I'm in there, so he's got to come in there.
Mm-hmm.
He comes in there, and you can't talk. I can't say a word.
And you're laughing.
They got all this stuff open my mouth, and they put this like this isolate the tooth. It's not plastic, but it's like rubber. And they wrap it around it and they cut a little hole in it, and that's the only tooth sticking up. So that's on here, got this thing on here, all this on here, Of course, Logan wants to cut up and I
Yeah,
can't
make you
say
laugh.
nothing back, And he goes, first thing he comes in, he said, well, that's it. It's over. My run's over. Abby's going to get all the glory now. She's become a YouTube superstar. And so I'm laughing. He goes, the last time you came in here and talked about me on YouTube, he said, I cannot tell you how many people come in here and told me about it. He said, I become famous overnight.
And now Abby's going to get all this glory.
He said, now Abby's going to steal all my spotlight.
Oh, my goodness.
But he did look at it and he goes, wow. He said, that's the biggest one I've ever seen talking about my absorption or resorption, whatever it's called.
Resorption.
He said, that's the biggest one I've ever seen.
That made you feel good.
It did. And I was like, go big or go home. That's how that's what I'm saying.
And y'all, it was last Tuesday, it was the day of the live when he realized that something was wrong with his tooth.
Yep.
I called the dentist and they said, can you come right now?
That's right.
And I told him his tooth was cracked. And I said, well, no, he can't come right now. We live an hour away.
That's
and,
right.
we got to do a live. And can you come Friday? I was like, no, we couldn't come Friday. Something was going on. Oh, Thursday. That was the day of my surgery.
That's right.
Couldn't come Thursday. Can you come Monday? Sure, we
come Monday. I'm not in any pain. No big deal.
So
Logan goes, I'm going to look at his x-rays from the last time. I told Abby, I was like, I was just in here when y'all were on vacation. And so Logan looks at the x-rays and he said, yep, it's not there. And he said, there's no sign of it whatsoever.
That made me feel kind of not good.
He said it happens very fast.
That's, yeah. Thankfully, we have dental insurance.
Yeah.
We have dental insurance.
Thankfully.
I saw a couple of people said they would have pulled that tooth and not got the root canal. His parents spent a lot of money to have braces on his teeth, and we certainly don't want those bottom teeth to all shift up. And
that's right.
That's what would happen.
Yep.
If you had that tooth pulled, it would move, and plus you'd have a spot where your tongue would go and probably talk a little different.
Tell them what a bridge would cost.
Oh, there's no telling.
There's no
but
telling.
I mean, pull the tooth just to pull it.
Yeah.
Just not put anything back in its place.
But
well, I'm glad it's over.
It's over though. Everything went well. Everything's fine, and I'm good to go. So I didn't get my Jim Carrey tooth fixed, though. No. I didn't. She didn't. I thought they were just gonna put a little, some Bondo on it and be done with it. That's what I was thinking. And then while they had the Bondo out, they could, pop a couple of licks on that one, and I'd be good.
I tell you what I thought. I thought you were going to go yesterday, and they were going to set you up another appointment to come back. I didn't tell you any of this because I didn't want you to be, predicting something worse than. But that was my thinking, is they weren't going to do anything yesterday. That you were just going to go over there, drive over there, tell you you're going to come back next week and not get anything done. But lo and behold, everything was taken care of in one day. Well. So I'm thankful for that. Right. But I hated I couldn't go with you because I'd have liked to have seen all that stuff happening. I could have been like, can it happen to another tooth? That was my question. And so I asked Dr. Google if that could happen to another one. And it said, it doesn't typically mean that the teeth beside it are going to be affected. While it can happen, again, it doesn't mean it's starting something that is going to happen
continuously. Right. Yeah.
So it was kind of like just a thing that just shouldn't have happened that happened. There's Miss Catherine. I have seen a lot of y'all asking how Catherine is. So y'all, Catherine is here. And I haven't said anything because I kind of wanted to wait and talk about that a little bit later, but she's doing well. She's still banged up, of course, and achy and, got some pain going on. But Catherine she's up out of bed, taking care of her animals as well as she can.
That's right.
Just still needs a little help.
Yep. That's right.
So I'm glad Catherine is here.
Yes.
Glad Catherine is here. So
while
I'm at my physical therapy appointment yesterday, there's a lady sitting beside me.
She knew who you were.
No. I didn't tell her either. So we're sitting there and we both got these things all up on our, I had the big dirty wrap on.
Yeah.
And then she's got this black thing that looks slinky and nice on her arm. I don't know what she did. She didn't know what I did. And one of the physical therapists leaned over and said, "There's my YouTube friend." And I said, "Hey." Well, the lady beside me just didn't pay any attention to that. So she's hearing mine and my physical therapist conversation. And finally, when the physical therapist walked away, she said, "How'd you hurt your hand?" And I told her I was leading the horse. And she said, "Oh, my goodness." And I said, "Well, how'd you hurt yours?" And she said she was walking in the mall and there was like an incline, it just started going down and she tripped and fell. She already had arthritis in her hand and she caught herself on her hands and she had to have some surgery done.
Can I ask you something?
What's that?
Why do malls have those inclines?
I have no idea. Obviously, they didn't have Mr. Greg to do their site work.
That's kind of common. I don't know why. I don't understand that.
Boy, the Selma Mall, it was just like that.
And it was on both ends.
Yep.
So
no, it wasn't. No,
yes, it was. It wasn't.
It was at one end, that Penny's end. That was it.
The McRae's end didn't have it. Are you sure?
I promise you.
Man, I swear both ends was on there.
It didn't.
I need Michael Keel here to clear that up.
Michael can text you and tell you because he's working that phone right now.
Make it easy for why? I don't understand why it's just not completely flat.
Well, it was an incline and it was big right there where that toy store was.
Yeah.
At JCPenney's.
Yeah.
Now
this is like in the middle of the mall. It's just like
no reason.
And it's not all
this is no reason for wheelchair. This is nothing to do with a stroller. Why not it just be flat?
Flat.
Why do they need that incline to go?
Why do they need it to go down and back and then?
Because they didn't have Mr. Greg to do their site work.
And it's not. I've just noticed not all malls are like that, but it is. I have been in several malls here in Alabama that do that.
Yeah, there was no reason for it to be that incline. If they had done the site work correctly, it would have been flat.
Yeah,
it's not like there was a second level or something. It was just. And the Montgomery Mall was like that, remember?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It didn't make sense.
You went out of Parisians.
And it went down.
Yeah. Well, she was in a mall in Texas, and she fell and caught herself. And so we're carrying on conversation. She doesn't know me from Adam's house cat. Come to find out, she tells me her husband's a vet. Oh. And I was like, there's Michael.
Me too, Mike. That's what I mean. As a kid, we thought they were great. Mike, was that incline on both ends of the
He said he thought they were, but they weren't.
I swear they were.
They weren't.
I'm almost positive they were. Anyways, go ahead.
So she tells me that
the Selma Brooks correct.
I know, Miss Brenda. Thank you, Miss Brenda.
Miss Brenda's wrong too.
No, she's not. No, she's not. Oh goodness. So I'm forgetting now. She's the wife of a veterinarian. And I'm thinking to myself, I know good and well I know who she is, but I'm not about to tell her, what we do or anything like that. I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Yeah. And so she tells me, she says, "Well, you have horses?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "We have a couple of 3 horses." And she said, "Well, we have cows. And my children are in 4-H, and my daughter was a livestock judge and got a scholarship to somewhere in Texas A&M or somewhere. That's why she was in Texas at the mall." And so I start telling her what kind of cows that we have. And I said, "We have a big, giant Holstein steer." And I showed her a picture of Moody and showed her Mildred next to her. And she said, "Oh, I wish that he would let me have a Charolais. We have Simmentals." Is that how you say it? Simmental.
And I just learned about them.
Well, she said, "I wish my husband would let me have a cow." And so then I tell her, she said, "Is that all you have?" And I said, "No, we have a mini Hereford." And she says, "Well, oh my goodness, I would love to have a Highland Scottish, a Scottish Highland. And my husband won't let me because we raised other." And so then I tell her that Tater, recently had the calf, and show her little man Tate by a picture. And she says, "Yeah," she said, "we recently had a calf born. And my husband, I told him that we should start videoing some of this stuff because people would watch it. And we could supplement, some of our feed for people watching these videos." And I said, "Yeah, that's a good idea." And she said that she was videoing and her husband doesn't want to be on the videos. And that things started getting a little hairy. And he turned around and he said, "Cut that camera off." And she said, "I decided at that point it probably wasn't worth me videoing."
Oh my goodness.
I could have cried. I was laughing so hard. I thought, funny. Lady, you have no earthly idea.
You don't know, do you?
You don't know. So I got tickled, and I haven't told the first person
Oh,
about
man.
that until now. But
That is funny.
y'all, I
Mm.
got tickled. You put that camera down right now. Things weren't going quite so
Been
well.
there and done that.
They weren't
Especially
going so.
early on.
Yeah.
Especially early on.
Yeah, Scottish Highlands cannot take the heat, and she knows that, and I'm
That'd be
sure her
tough, yeah.
husband knows that
Yeah.
too.
That would be really tough here. Somebody said the Panama City Beach Mall had that incline, and I've been to that mall,
I
but I
have
can't
too.
remember.
I've been to that mall a few times,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't remember it. I just don't know why it was like that.
I don't know. And then somebody said that there were some hospital in Alabama, or some hospitals in Alabama had that too. It's just going
Simmental. Okay.
It's going like this,
Thank
and then
you.
all of a sudden it just drops down and goes back flat again.
The one in Montgomery was nothing like the one in Selma. The one
Selma
in Selma
was bad, yeah.
was like Dixie Drive.
If you were a kid, you'd think that thing is the great. And Michael's right. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I run up and down that hill.
Yeah, I did. You had to hold on to your parents' hand if you were little because it was that steep. Seriously, it was
that steep. Yeah,
it was so steep, and I don't know why it was like that.
I don't either.
And you can't go out that door now. You know, it's the thrift store. They have it blocked off where you can't go out that door.
Oh.
Now you can go in the mall and walk and get exercise, but you have to turn around when you get there. You have to Google the reason. Somebody said, well, y'all Google it for us.
I don't know why they did that.
Google says it's to promote
traffic flow.
Why? Penny's was the last stop. J.C. Penney's was the only.
There was some reason why they did that.
That wasn't traffic.
Maybe it was to slow people down so they could catch another store.
Well, the only thing there was a toy store.
We had Chris's too.
Yeah, but that was way before that incline.
No, that incline's been there since the mall was built.
No, I'm saying the incline was right there at Penny's. The Cresses was before the incline.
Yeah, but you have to start slowing down before you got that incline now.
That engineer does not have a job anymore.
I don't know why they did it.
Because it was not smart.
I don't know why they did it.
I
Makes
don't either.
zero sense.
A design feature of some sort, and it was. You know, whatever year that mall was built, it was probably about the same time as all these other places.
Oh, I'm sure. And now malls are a dying breed.
Yes,
and I hate that. Listen, y'all don't do. I'm warning y'all. Do not go on YouTube and go down that rabbit hole of closed malls and these people checking them out. I will get on there and. I waste way too much time.
Pat said Montgomery Mall was like that too. Pat, that's what we were just talking about.
Had the same design feature.
Yep.
Yeah, and there's actually a video of the Montgomery Mall here recently. And if somebody had gone in it and take a little video of it
illegally.
I don't know about that now, but they were in there showing it. And
it was built in the early 70s.
And the food court was still like the chairs and all were still there.
Really?
Yes. Huh. Crazy.
I like them all because, you know, if you got to move your car, it's raining, it's cold, just go in there and spend the day.
Now it's these big open strip shops and you have to walk down the sidewalks and park and you have to get out and go drive to another one. Yeah, I miss the mall too.
I do too. Now I took Mary Carl and her friend to the Tuscaloosa Mall just a couple of days ago. And it was just nice. It was just like what I remember it. It was a food court and, you know, just the way you would.
It's like arcade, record stores.
I take that back. It wasn't like a food court. It was food.
Yeah.
But they were, you know, it was not like the Montgomery Mall food court.
You. They have a big fountain in the middle?
They did, but it wasn't running at the time.
They're never running now.
The girls would go into a store and Brooke would sit out on the bench in front of the store and watch them and wait on them. And I felt like I was my mama all over again.
I remember, can you imagine that now though? I remember my mom and my friends' parents would drop us off.
I never got dropped
at the mall.
Off.
I'm talking age 13.
I never
drop
got
us off at the mall and then come pick us up in a couple hours.
Well, you can't do that this day and time.
I can't imagine it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they are on a comeback too. Linda said. Now the Galleria Mall still in Birmingham.
Yeah,
is a 2-story mall, and you know it. I just like going in there.
Mm-hmm.
I like going there better than I do the Summit. You go to the summit, you got to get back in your car, go
Gotta
find
get back in
another
your car,
parking
you know,
spot.
yeah.
You know, the car's hot if it's summertime,
Mhm.
it's cold if it's wintertime. Just stay in the building.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
don't
right.
know why they thought of that, but
I don't know either. It just seemed like it'd be cheaper to run the mall instead of all those shops and
well,
stuff.
somebody probably profited from it
There's
being
some reason.
separate.
There's some
stores.
reason they closed the malls down.
Yeah,
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know.
That Miss Brenda said that they're saying that they may tear the Selma Mall down.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I hope they don't tear Shauna and Robbie's
I know it.
place down.
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Well, did you ever go through the Selma Mall and have a penny in your pocket and not throw it in the fountain?
Mm-mm. You're gonna throw it in the fountain.
You're going to throw it in the fountain.
And the fountain probably ain't worked in years, but you still would throw it in the water.
Do you remember that candy corner?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what it was called?
Yep.
You got caramel popcorn?
Mhm.
Oh my gracious, that was the best popcorn in the whole wide world.
Wasn't it good?
Maybe that's why I like popcorn so much today. I don't eat caramel popcorn. I just eat regular popcorn now, but that caramel popcorn, it came in a box. You know, they would fold the corners down,
Mm-hmm.
and it was red and white striped.
Mhm.
You'd have that box egg. I could eat that box right now.
What I remember about it the most, of course, is Peppermint Records,
Uh-huh.
which was the record store. There was
Yes.
it was independent, local Peppermint Records. That's where you go buy your tape or your record. And then eventually CDs came about. But I don't remember Peppermint Records selling CDs.
I don't either.
It
But
was mostly tapes.
I think I put my allowance in Peppermint Records every single week. Every dime I made went to Peppermint Records.
Yep. And then, of course, you had Take 10, which was across, which
Mhm.
was the arcade.
Yeah, I didn't too much care for it.
And then the toy store.
Yep.
I remember the toy store.
The toy store. And
Right
then when
there
I
to
got
the
a little bit older, they had a store called Bell's. And
Yep.
Kelly and I would go to Bell's a lot of times. It was
Mhm.
really one of the only clothing stores. And then we got Belk or Macrae's.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like a game changer. You know, you only
Oh,
had that in the
yeah.
big cities, and Selma
right.
got a Belk
Mhm.
or Macrae's to begin with. Oh, goodness.
I could have spent hours in the record store.
Yes, us too.
Hours.
And the guy knew us by
Oh,
name.
it was.
Me
And the
and-
Foot Locker. I also remember the Foot Locker. And how the manager knew me at the Foot Locker so well is because I would put shoes on layaway. So I would go in there, find me a pair of shoes I like. A lot of times it was Jordans. And I would work and save my money. And then each week I'd go take my money and put them on my shoes and put them on layaway. And so the manager there got to know me really well. And forever, I mean, if I saw him out in public, even 15 years later, he knew exactly who I was and we would strike up a conversation.
How about that?
Ain't that something?
Yeah. I wasn't a shoe person. I mean, I had to have
yeah.
cleats that were cool, but that was pretty much it. And I wore those cleats until the cleats didn't have any cleats on them anymore. But I wasn't a shoe person. I was a tape person, though.
I was definitely a tape person.
Goodness gracious.
And that's I would do the same thing with the was when Nintendo first came out, and so I would save my money up and go buy a Nintendo game.
Huh.
And so that's how I remember the toy store.
Yeah.
They sold Nintendo games. Yep.
I don't remember going to the toy store except for when I was little. Now, Belk was still open when we left Selma. When we moved out of Selma, Belk was still open. However, it has since closed.
Yeah, it's closed now.
It's closed.
Mm-hmm.
There's now like a big Amazon, I don't know what you call it, Amazon knockoff store or something where they sell returns.
They buy
I don't know what
Amazon
they do.
boxes that are returns or something, and then that's real popular now. I think I see that a lot lately.
Oh, I was reading something Miss Brenda said. She was talking about our honey products. We'll talk to you about that later, Miss Brenda. I was going to say about something about our September the 20th Petals from the Past event. We've been getting some emails and we hadn't talked about it in a live here lately. We need to talk about that on a video.
Okay.
So September the 20th, mark your calendars. If you're able to come to Alabama, y'all, we would love to have you at the Fall Festival. It's going to be at Petals from the Past. It's going to be a YouTube meet and greet. And of course, the nursery will be open for business. And what made me think of that is that I wrote down on a little piece of paper, or got me a call to anyway, because a lady named Robin sent me an email. And this is what the email said. I have not had time to respond to Robin, but this was the email. I took a screenshot of it. This shows you, that it's an old cookbook. It says, to mend an iron kettle, mix the white of an egg with some iron fillings and lime to make a thin paste. Apply it to the crack and let it sit a couple of hours.
Wow.
That is for an iron kettle. And I guess that goes for like a cast iron skillet or something like that. I just thought that was the coolest thing. And what made me think of it was that Jason is going to be showing the electrolysis tank and cleaning cast iron at the event.
That's right.
We haven't said anything about that. The details are being finalized, but we will be there, and Jason will be teaching that class on the cast iron cleaning and
right.
And then Tony, I think at Campfire and Countryside, is going to show how to season it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
But y'all make arrangements if you can for September the 20th. And they're going to have some information on a website very soon. It's in the works.
So that's not up yet.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not completely finalized yet. But I've had some people ask me where to stay, and I honestly don't know where to tell you to stay, because there are cities on each side of us. But as for where to suggest to stay, I don't know.
I would reach out to Tracy at Just Dig It.
Well, this is what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that it gets put on the website. Some hotels.
I think they do that though.
Yes. Yeah. And I'm hoping I can say.
I think they do that.
I'm hoping I can say, go to the website and it will tell you some places, that you could possibly stay.
I got you.
So,
what's the difference between a motel and a hotel? Do you know?
That's something for Google.
I think it has something to do with like one's just one it's not 2 floors. It's just a single.
Okay.
I think. Am I right on that? Is that the difference between hotels are booked? The price. Motels one. I always thought motel is one level, and a hotel is more than one level.
You know that place that we stayed at called the Desert Palms? It was a motel and it was one level, wasn't it?
I think you're right.
I'm trying to refer to places. This was way back when we were teenagers, or not teenagers, in our 20s.
Motel doors are on the outside. Motel is one story.
Okay.
So you drive to your front of your room and go and open it up and go in. It's not like you go into a lobby and then find your room.
Okay, gotcha. I gotcha.
So I guess it could.
You can drive your car to the outside of your room.
Yeah. Some motels are more one floor. That reminds me, when I went to the pig butchering class.
Yeah.
I think that would be considered a motel because it had more than one level, but there was no elevators. You parked.
Oh, and you took stairs.
And then I took a stair to my door.
Okay.
So I think that's considered a motel. Opens to the outside. Okay. That makes sense now. Now I know.
We learned something on these lives. It's not just.
I always thought it was just one floor. That's what I thought the difference was.
But it can be more than one floor.
Yeah. Motel is vertical. Hotel is vertical. Motel is horizontal. That makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. And I've seen a lot of people saying that Jamie and Lester are coming, or just Jamie's coming, and we hope that is the case.
Yep.
I'm sure as time goes closer, they will talk more about that, but we do hope that they are able to make it. And we realize that's a long way away from them.
Yes, it is.
It'd kind of be like us trying to make plans to pack up and
10 or 12 hours, I think, that drive is.
Yeah, we've Googled it before.
Yeah.
We want to see them regularly, but it's a long way from our home.
It is a long way.
So we understand whatever happens with that.
Mm-hmm. So I didn't tell you this. I got it again, but I blocked it. I got the state of Alabama. I got a ticket. And if I don't pay it, they're going to suspend my license text again, which is a scam. And so I Googled it because it looks like a government address. But it's a scam. So when I Googled it, it said it's happening in all states. So you guys be careful because it is very, very, very
fishy looking.
Well, it looks real.
That's what I mean. It looks like you owe it. It's fishy, but it's legit looking.
Even the website that they give you is like, it was like the state of Alabama.gov, which is okay, that's the government website, but it says dot something else. And that is,
somebody said they got one yesterday and they don't even drive.
and somebody said they got one today.
Gotten them.
Yeah.
Mary Carl's gotten them. She does not have a driver's license.
I got a text. It's not an email. This is a text. And I just want a lot of y'all. I don't want any of y'all out there falling for it, because I've gotten it twice. And they know I live in Alabama. And it looks completely legit. And if I don't pay the fine, then they're going to suspend my driver's license and so on and so forth. So I wish I'd have saved it, but I blocked it immediately.
So this morning I made a post of some new products that you guys have been asking for, mainly in the live. Some of y'all have been asking for V-neck t-shirts. And so Jacqueline's been working on getting those up. And I made a post on Facebook that we now have V-neck t-shirts available. And so I started getting messages on my Facebook Miss Coghill thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it would say something like, "Hello, I would like to know if this item is available to purchase." Most of y'all don't talk like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's weird. So I didn't answer it. Next thing I know, they said, "Hello, I would like to make this purchase." And I knew it was a scam. And I said, I am not answering that. Next thing I know, "Hi, are you there?" Y'all, it was so, you just would not, you wouldn't have thought that was, and it was just because I had just listed that merch on there that was back available.
You know somebody's not going to talk to you like that. They're going to be, "Hey, Brooke. Hey, Brooke."
Well, not these people.
They're going to be, "Hey, Brooke, what's up? How about the shirt?"
Well, Jason, they don't especially talk like that.
They're not going to be
but
like,
Here's an
Hi.
example of the V-neck shirt. I put a picture of it. Now that sunflower's just the backdrop that Jacqueline used, but the shirt that I have on, as well as the sweet tea shirt, is available in V-neck. And this is the one that they kept commenting on. Jacqueline thought that my hat needed an upgrade, so we are working on. She's sending me one. We made a new hat, and it has a Coghill patch on it that has flowers. And this is what these scammers were trying to get me on.
Is this available?
Hi, is this still available for purchase? That's the patch that's on it. It's on the website now, so there it is. It flips up on the side.
Man.
So I'm waiting to get mine so I can, I will still wear my straw hat that has been repaired. But y'all, I have a hard time wearing that straw hat when I need to see above me. My peripheral vision, it's not peripheral.
Your straw hat's got a sunroof in it.
It does. There are times when I need a lighter weight hat that's, well, not to say temperature wise cooler, but I need it to just fit better.
Mm-hmm.
And so we got one coming. We got one coming. Just in case mine were to kick totally over. Yes, a straw hat with an attitude. That's right.
Straw hat with attitude.
That is right.
Yeah, listen, I don't trust anything on Facebook.
Oh, goodness.
Nothing. Absolutely
Donna
nothing.
said, "You won't believe what I went through when the scammers stole my identity and social security check." I can imagine. Oh, didn't mean to almost knock that over. But the freeze-dried popsicles
are back.
Limited quantity.
They sold out super fast.
They did.
So they're back.
And also the new soap. If you haven't checked out the new soap scent, the sweet tea soap, it is available too.
Yep.
So I don't know what's up with the scammers. How many would they have to send that to in order to actually have somebody bite?
It's a numbers game.
Jason, they could go have a job and be home from work by the time one person.
It's a number, and they're not even from here. They're not even in the United States.
I don't understand what they get out of it, though.
Well, they'll get something.
Yeah, but
they're gonna get your PayPal account, or they're gonna get something.
They ain't gonna get nothing from me.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't gonna get nothing from me, because what?
Miss Mary said Jesse and Honey in that video yesterday is one of the funniest things she's ever seen. I'm gonna tell y'all, I couldn't get my camera out fast enough. Okay, I couldn't, and I was just driving around, and then I saw Jessie, and she looked up, and she started hollering and running. And at first I was like, what in the world are you doing? And then it dawned on me what she was doing. It dawned on me. She totally got mesmerized out there, not paying attention, eating that grass. And Honey said, I got to get out of the sun for a few minutes. I'm going to go hit the shade. And didn't tell Jesse. She didn't say, hey, Jesse, I'm going to go get
Jesse
the shade,
needs
girl.
a walkie-talkie for those kind of days.
Man, Jesse got upset now. I mean, she got upset. Goodness
I'm
gracious.
so happy that those two have each other.
Oh, yeah.
Because
No
while
doubt.
it seemed like they were Jesse was satisfied with just goats,
Mm-hmm.
and she probably was, but when she met Honey and she got another of her kind, it just, and I'm sure it made all the difference to Matilda when we moved her in there with the cows.
Yep.
She seemed like she was fine, but when she got in there with her kind, I'm sure that it just lifted her spirits a little bit. I pulled up the message. It says, do you still have this for sale, or can you make something like this similar? I am very interested.
And look at her name.
I know.
I can't even say it. And I'm a wordsmith and I can't say her name.
Okay. Hello, I hope you're well. I'm very interested in this item and wanted to confirm if it's still available. Kindly let me know at your earliest convenience so I can proceed with this order.
I hope you're well.
Thank you. Hello? ?
I hope you're well. I'm not.
I said, you are wasting my time. I did not respond.
I hope you're well.
The lip blush will be back in stock very, very soon. Miss Laura has been waiting on containers and she finally got them. So that will happen very soon.
Snow White, she's not sitting on the egg, is she?
She acts like she wants to.
Okay.
She acts like she wants to. Now, she looked like she may be laying when I was in there earlier.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I didn't mess with her.
Okay.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, they are. I got. They are bots. I think they are. I think they're automatic. And it's somehow I know that they're looking for keywords and they see it, and all of a sudden the bots it's just automatic. I get them on the main channel every time I post a video now, and I try to block them at what words they're using, and I'll get, and they'll have the same picture on their profile picture, and it's this scandalous. I mean, this lady in this picture is dressed like,
she doesn't have a whole lot of clothes on,
and then she has this thing. Your videos are so interesting.
She sent me one the other day, y'all.
Oh, did she?
And she told me to go ahead and respond to her before her boyfriend found out. And I thought, do you not see the Mrs. in front of Cog Hill Farm? Her half did up self didn't do anything for me.
Well, mine doesn't say anything that's mature. Mine says, your content is the best on YouTube. I think your videos are amazing. And it's this long thing about how great the videos are. And here she is, barely covered up. I mean, I'm like, come on now. And
what did they tell you the other day that they loved your?
And
what was it, Jason?
They will be the first comment on every video. It's almost instantaneous when it comes up.
Oh, what was it? They loved our dirt, or it was something so crazy. Our skid steer was beautiful. I mean, it was something that.
It was, wasn't it? It was something crazy.
It was. We laughed.
We did laugh. We did.
Our tractor was the most beautiful thing they'd ever laid their eyes on.
It was crazy.
It was, oh goodness.
It was crazy. But all I can figure is that you click on it and you see the picture and you're like, maybe she won't, maybe I chat with her a little bit more or something.
Yeah.
I still don't think I can figure, because there's nothing, she doesn't say anything, like.
She tells me she doesn't want her boyfriend to find out. That's on Facebook. I want to say.
So I've been trying to figure out, and they get smart. They know us creators do it. They use certain terms or lingo, and you'll block that phrase, and they just come up with another one.
It's usually hello, dear.
Hello, dear.
Hello, dear.
Yeah.
Oh my
goodness. You're well.
Yeah, hope you're well. And they think that that's how people talk around Alabama.
I guess so.
Yes, and I'm still using Luberson every single day.
Yep.
using Luberson.
Have not got the other fly curtain up because it's been raining here nonstop for the past 3 days. So
That's right.
yep.
Um,
And we got to get some new hooks too.
somebody said they hope the Big O doesn't get jealous of Bobby getting all those compliments. It's just amazing
Oh,
to me. It
goodness.
is amazing.
Oh man, that's hilarious. That is hilarious.
So let me tell y'all something. We were talking about Catherine earlier, and
Oh,
while her wreck was a very serious thing, and I am so glad she wasn't hurt, any broken bones or anything like that. I got to tell y'all something a little on the lighter side. So she was taking some of our honey and some of her farm fresh eggs over to her son. They were in the front seat with her when she had the crash. And at first she thought that the honey busted all over the car because she didn't see it again. And she knew that the eggs had busted everywhere. So she had to go today to get her tag off of her car, her license plate. And she had to sign something to get the license plate legally because they won't just give it to, anybody. And she said when she got close to that car, she could smell those eggs. And I'm going to tell y'all something. It is a good thing that car was totaled out. Can you imagine having to have it fixed and 2 dozen eggs busted in it and been sitting out in the hot sun since, when was her wreck? Friday?
I think that's right.
No, because it was the day that Emily spent the night and then she went home, or didn't spend the night. Wednesday. Sitting in that car since Wednesday. 2 dozen eggs. Ooh, wee.
Well, I'll tell you this. If she'd have had that wreck about 3 months ago and them 2 dozen eggs, it would have totaled out her car.
Well, it did.
Because them eggs would have been like, they was worth more than the car.
That's right. She would have got a little bit of something extra, wouldn't she? But I mean, her car was totaled. So,
can you imagine that?
But what if she hadn't? What would they have done?
I don't know.
They couldn't have got that smell out of there.
I don't know.
They could not have they couldn't have got it out of there. I don't want to think about it.
Well, I working at the dealership. This was many years ago. Our car came in there and they needed something done, and the technician had to get in the trunk to do it. And this person had so much stuff in the trunk. And then when you open the trunk, it was horrible. It was horrible. So they ended up leaving the car. They got the stuff out and they left the car there. And when they pulled over to the technician, I was in parts at the time. I wasn't parts and service director. I was just a parts manager. And so pulled it over there, and it was Ricky who got it. And so the technician's name's Ricky. And Ricky popped that trunk, and y'all, I could smell it in the parts department. I don't know what it was. It was terrible. But Ricky shut the trunk back.
He said he wasn't working on it.
I'm not working on it. Whatever that was in there. I'm not working. I'm not getting it out. I'm not working on it. So the service manager, Ronnie, at the time, he got it out, and I can't remember what it was, but it was like, so they left like food in there, and it was maggots, and he had to put on a mask and gloves. And he got it out, and man, that's me thinking of burnt eggs, spoiled eggs, and
I can't imagine I just don't know what they would do in a case like that, because if they had stayed in there and the car wasn't totaled, would she have to have it back? You can't replace everything in the interior. She'd have to have all new seats, all new carpet, everything.
That kind of reminds me. So the owner of the dealership, Mr. Porter, he told me about what they would do as a practical joke back in his younger days.
What's that?
And they would take a little bit of milk and put it in the trunk.
Oh my!
And it wouldn't take much. And you're driving, a few days, it's gonna start coming on inside.
Oh yeah. Did they pour in the liner?
They would do it to their buddies.
Did they pour in the liner of the trunk?
I'm not quite for sure the details of it. I don't know if they would put like a little.
Cruel.
But they would do that to their buddies right there.
Ugh. That's a horrible smell.
Woo! Yeah.
Take that to the junkyard.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine. So if y'all
Mm-mm-mm.
get messages and they look like they may be from us or they look suspicious,
Yeah,
just
it's not
know,
us.
y'all,
Mm-mm.
we're not going to send out any messages. If you ask us something, we may respond, but it's not going to be a link to something that you didn't ask about. We are not interested in trying
Mm-hmm.
to, you know, we have to be careful on our end and y'all have to be careful on your end. Just know that we don't do that. September the 20th.
September 20th is the event. Miss Betty says she spilled the whole gallon of buttermilk in her car.
Oh my goodness.
She said it was in there until the smell was in there until the day she traded it in. Never could get it out. I could see Bill. Yeah.
Not something I want to know about. Goodness gracious. Well, Dr. D hadn't messaged you, has he?
Mm-mm. I got my phone still on, so we're good.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right, Carla. Don't click on any links you are not aware of
That's
because it can really do some damage,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately. So, what's for supper?
What is for supper?
Well, I had something in mind and I may change it. It's
Yeah.
getting kind of late to be changing, but I have in mind we're going to have chicken fajitas. I've got some chicken and I can take my KitchenAid mixer after I cook the chicken
Yeah.
and shred
Yeah.
it up. I showed y'all that trick one time
Mm-hmm.
before. Somebody showed me and I passed it on, and we could have, some chicken fajitas. That sounds pretty good to me. Or I may just cut the chicken up and bake it and have some of those good old homegrown taters out of the garden and
That'd be good too.
some kind of vegetable.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of feel like I'm not prepared today. We could have the SOS.
We could have breakfast too.
Yeah, got some bacon, got some eggs, of course, got biscuits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yep. Somebody said there's currently eating snickerdoodle cookies. One of my favorites.
Snickerdoodle cookies.
It is one of my favorites.
I got the girls some cookies at what's that place called? No, the place in the mall.
American
Cookie Company.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the mall and it was close to closing time. They had packed up all the cookies, but it didn't matter because all they wanted was sugar cookies. And I didn't eat any. I did not eat any.
You didn't have one?
I didn't have one.
Didn't have one.
No, but they said they were really good.
Mm.
I would love to have a. No, we haven't tried the SOS with the
beef.
With the beef,
Mm-mm.
with the chipped beef.
We got it though.
We got it. That would be a quick, easy
You
meal. Think? Yes, it would.
We could do that again.
We could do that. I could do it.
I got something I want to show them.
I don't have English peas though, and you don't like English peas anyway.
I don't like. Yeah, I'm not a big fan.
What are you going to show them?
Should I take my belt off?
Well, I guess so. You're not going to stand up and let them see it.
Look what I got.
Jason has a surprise. Speaking of,
this reminds me of the days of my daddy. Oh, pulling that belt off.
Mm-hmm. So here's what we were talking about on one of our lives, and that is the Cog Hill Farm belt buckle.
My buddy Clack got my belt buckle. I got my belt buckle from Clack. Isn't that awesome?
So y'all go over to the Clack Shack. They're really trying to get their family channel going.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what it's called. The Clack, please.
Y'all remember? Did y'all need to do that? The fake pull the belt off. Don't let me pull this belt off. He's shaking it. Let me pull this belt off. Never would pull it off, but he was. Yeah, that was. Yeah, that. You didn't do that, did you?
Yeah.
My daddy did. Ooh.
All right, here it is.
You straighten up then, though.
The Clackleys. So if y'all don't mind, go over to YouTube and follow our friends. This is Clack that made the belt buckle. He has another channel too. It's called the Clack Shack. This is a family channel. The CLACKLEYS. And hit subscribe, maybe play some videos, see what their family's up to, and help them out because they are nice to us.
Somebody said they never stood around long enough for the daddy to get their belt off. The spelling of the Clackleys. Man, my daddy though, he would do that. Don't let me. You want me?
Somebody said if you ever had to pull that belt off for me, Carl.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Key said mine always did. Mine wasn't playing either.
Michael, you never did that with Dalton or Emily, I bet.
My daddy wasn't playing either. My daddy had that belt with them buffalo nickels on it.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was enough to scare me straight right there.
I bet so.
Mm-hmm. Enough to scare me straight. I know I probably told this story before, and I won't tell it again because it's too good not to tell because we're talking about belts and getting in trouble. And so I was always taught, no matter what, don't run from your parents. Don't run. If you get in trouble, don't run. Well, we was all family. We were at the beach, Panama City. Granddaddy had a trailer at Panama City Beach back in the day. And us cousins, aunts, uncles, we were all there as a family. And my cousin got in trouble. And he did just that. He took off running. And y'all, my uncle took off running after him because he wasn't supposed to run. And it was a scene out of Indiana Jones if you ever seen one. My uncle's running, and my cousin's running, and my uncle's getting that belt off while he's running. And this is, I can see it right now, and it happened in slow motion. He got that belt off, and he did it just like Indiana Jones did with that whip. And he flung that right there, and that
Jason flung the computer.
Listen, that belt wrapped around my cousin's leg just like that. And he pulled it.
Jason.
Boom. Caught him right there.
Kid.
I swear, if it didn't happen, I'm going to get struck by lightning right now.
Were y'all laughing?
No, girl. I was scared to death. I wasn't laughing. Heck no.
Oh, my goodness.
Just like Indiana Jones. And it happened fast. Real fast.
It had to have happened fast to catch like that.
Ooh, right then, you should have seen all of us cousins. We were like,
what uncle was it?
It was Uncle Robert. You didn't know Uncle Robert.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Yeah. All of us learned right then that our parents meant you don't run.
I guess so. I might be glad I didn't know Uncle Robert, because if I ran from Uncle Robert, we'd be in trouble.
Oh, I bet he couldn't do that again if you paid him $1 million.
You know he was grinning ear to ear.
Oh, yeah,
something he couldn't ever.
Oh, I bet you money when he went inside, the parents were all giving him high fives and fist bumps. I bet you they were. Couldn't do that again to save his life.
Oh, goodness.
But he did it that time.
Emily said, not Emily. That person said they thought you were going to say his pants fell down. That would have been even better. Yeah, you can't do something like that these days. You would go under the jail.
Yeah, he didn't get a whipping. The wrapping around the
glove. I'm just saying they could have
tripping him was enough.
Today's time is different.
Oh man. Oh yeah, that was enough. Oh, he got embarrassed enough. Right there, that was it.
Goodness gracious. Well, I want to see what the radar looks like, because I tell you, I told you I thought it was going to rain. And if it doesn't rain after I cook whatever we're going to have for dinner, I need to get on the lawnmower again. It's missed us.
Sporadic below us.
Look at there. The state of Alabama has a lot of rain, but we are in the clear for right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of got to make hay while it's not raining around here. I don't think it was let's see. Now it's 50% chance of rain.
Today or tomorrow?
Today. It was like 5% this morning.
Look at that.
I know.
It's 50 all the way down the rest of the week.
It's amazing. We're
making up.
We have had a lot of rain.
We're making up for them last few times. Mary, I did this. My nanny made us do the same thing. You had to go pick your own switch.
Mm-hmm. I was
and my nanny was the sweetest lady you ever did meet. She was. But she did keep them switches on the dash of her Oldsmobile. She had a long Oldsmobile 2-door. And, of course, we didn't wear seatbelts back in. And you were messing around in that back seat. And you and your cousins, she just tell y'all, she'd warn you first. And if you didn't listen, she just grabbed a switch and do like this.
I hope y'all were as good as I was, because if you were, you didn't have any of that kind of stuff going on.
Oh man!
All right, y'all. It's time to go cook dinner, and hopefully, Jason wants me to make a cobbler too.
Yeah, blueberry one this time.
That's what Brenda said. She made the cobbler, but with blueberries.
Yep, I got blueberries are looking fabulous.
So Jason wants me to make a blueberry cobbler,
and
that can happen. But I might have to cut some grass first.
Yeah.
So, all right, y'all. Hope everybody has a good supper, whatever it may be, or just a good evening, relaxing evening.
Hope my pants don't fall off.
I hope not too. Goodness gracious. Okay, y'all.
Oh,
September 20th, the Petals meet and greet. Don't forget, if you could come, we'd love for y'all to be there. It's going to
right.
be a fun time, and we plan to have a video tomorrow and schedule as follows.
That's right.
All right.
Y'all be good.